Yo, welcome back to another episode of On Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and today's episode we're joined by a very special guest, current professional hockey goaltender Liam Murray. Liam most recently signed to play this year in the Federal Prospects Hockey League with the Blue Ridge Bobcats, but he spent last year with the Mississippi Seawolves, the Danbury Hat in the Fed, and he also had a couple stints in the SP with the Huntsville Havoc and the Macon Mayhem. But even before that, he got a taste of the Fed with the Delaware Thunder after his last year at UMass Boston, where he spent 2 years there. Then he went to Bethel University before that, and then Wilkes University before that. And then he played his junior hockey days in the NAHL and the North American Hockey League and the NCDC. So I'm really excited to get you on, Liam. So welcome to the show, Liam Murray.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Man, that's a I didn't realize how big my resume is there for a second. Too many teams.
We'll dive into all aspects of your career. But to start things off, like how's the summer going? I know you're in Florida, where you're from, so how's that going?
Good, good. I mean, just been training quite a bit. I mean, it's hockey is a big hotbed down here in Florida, so a lot of people don't realize that, especially in the summer, because who doesn't like the beach in the summer? So, we got the 3v3 SoFlo League. I've been playing in that, and then most recently I've been skating in some NHL skates. So can't complain, and of course some men's league here and
Yeah,
there.
of course you gotta include the men's league, but like I've seen the SoFlo rankings, and you're pretty up there in the save percentage and the goals against there.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard. It's really hard for the goalies in general. It's such a small rink, and I mean, there's some pretty good goalies in that league over a couple years now. Because I think it's my third or fourth year since they started, and I mean, I think that I have it down, and then I don't. Then the next couple games you get lit up, so it's hard. So, but I've been getting lucky with a good team too. So
Yeah, three on three will do that too. Sometimes you have it, some days you're just getting lit
yeah,
up, and you're like, should I play goalie or should I just like retire and do something else?
yeah, and then you have guys like Lechnikov, the second overall pick
Yeah.
on the ice with you too. So it's a little humbling sometimes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely when you get guys like that and like you make a save on them, and then the next shot they get, they put it between like your glove and your ear, and you're like, "Yup, just gotta stay
Oh
home."
yeah. And the worst part is you think that you're in shape and you can train all summer and then you play in that league and it's 12-minute games nonstop.
Yeah.
And then you have like a 30-second break and then you have another three more after that. So it's like I haven't seen a goalie survive all 4 games without at least bending over a couple times and letting up some soft ones. It's
Yeah.
it's a bag for sure.
Oh yeah, but yeah, you get in shape because of those skates, and
Oh
like
yeah.
you're ready, you're dialed for the season when it comes, because you're like, oh, I did this 3-on-3 thing. I'm buzzing right now.
Yep.
Yeah, but you've also skated with a bunch of like NHL guys too this summer. It's like how are those skates and like your training overall in the summer?
Yeah, I mean, usually I just come home. I'm fortunate to find a gym that I've been training with for now since COVID. Next level, shout them out. But yeah, they're now a big hockey hotbed for the gym in Fort Lauderdale. My brother and I were like the first two hockey guys there, and they really took us in and started like learning um, more in depth about the hockey player and about like strength and just mobility. So they've been working with me for a while and helping me out. And then now they've gotten some NHL guys over the years. And I think there's probably like over a span of 2 years now, they've had probably 70, 80 hockey clients.
Wow,
Um,
that's a lot.
yeah. And then I'm also lucky enough to have Brett Schaefer, who's
Yeah,
actually Huntsville goalie coach. And then he's everywhere. He's done a lot of different things. He has a crazy resume. Great guy, great coach.
yeah.
Um, and then of course, then there's the SoFlo League and the NHL skates, which is the Panthers actually host in their practice facility. They host an all inclusive. It's only NHL and AHL guys. I'm lucky enough to be able to skate in it just because they need a shooter tutor. So that's what I've been doing now. And I mean, there's some big names in there. I've probably the last couple of years been skating with Verhage and Lomberg are probably two big ones. Magna's there now, Duhame, Peaker. There's quite a few. It's a long list.
Yeah, and they just won the Stanley Cup. So have you got a chance to be with the Stanley Cup at all? Or
I was at the parade. I'll say that.
there we go. At
Actually,
least
I
that's
went
something.
viral. I actually went viral. I threw a beer out to Lomberg on the bus because he saw me, and he caught it and I guess poured it all over himself, and it was
Well,
in
I
front
think
of.
I think I did see that one. We'll have to
Yeah,
pull it up and send it for the pot for the Instagram.
yeah, it's funny. Actually, I told him today that I was me, and he didn't even know, and he was laughing. He was, I think he still had the video on his phone, but
Yeah, that's sick. And like, hey, you're viral now, so for a good cause, throwing the beer to Lomberg, so can't complain about that.
it didn't go to waste. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. But like Florida doesn't seem to be like that hockey hotbed, but like it's obviously like especially with the Panthers winning and like how the dynasty that the Lightning were in for a while, like it's obviously growing and like you said, like it's not it's a hotbed now. And so it's good to see that the game's growing, especially during the warmer parts of the world is like Florida.
Yeah, I mean, I can say growing up that especially goalies, like the amount of goalies that are produced out of Florida is crazy, and I would say, I mean, players too, but I would say that like the goalie is the big thing because we do a lot of private lessons. That's like the biggest thing in Florida. Like you just got when you get on the ice, it's usually a private lesson or your team skate. So we had Rob Tallis coaching for a while, which is the Panthers goalie coach now, I think probably for 20 years. He finally got a cup. So but yeah, he trained me since I was little. Billy Gerard, who just went from UNE to now he's playing for BU this year. Um, and then Matt Greenfield, Kyle Kaiser, like there's some crazy names
Yeah.
out of Florida. And then I mean I've skated with guys, Randy Hernandez, for example, forward. He played for NCDP for a couple of years, played at Canisius, played at Robert Morris. He just signed with Comets in the Coast. And yeah, there's some other big names there too. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely a hotbed, and people haven't realized. I think now that Panthers winning and Tampa winning for the last couple of years, people have been more focused on it. And I think it has to do with just guys retire here. A lot of NHL guys retire here, and also there's a lot of different like uh people from different countries that come in. So like we have a lot of Russians, we have a lot of Canadians that are all around Florida. So obviously they want to lead towards hockey.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that makes sense. And like it's great when you have guys like that that are willing to like build like from a state where it's warm and didn't have hockey as much at the time and just build that foundation. It's like what was it like growing up in Florida with like your youth hockey organizations and growing up until you went to Honey Baked?
yeah, I mean, Florida's kind of weird. So when we first started, there wasn't that many rinks. There was the closest rink was 30 minutes. And then the next other one was 30. The other way it was 30 north, 30 west, or an hour south, or an hour north. So there's nothing really close. I ended up playing for Florida Junior Panthers growing up for quite a bit, and then I moved when I was like 12 or 13. I went to Toros, which is in Miami, in Kendall, like really South Miami.
Yeah,
And that was about an hour drive. I would do that drive. My shout out to my dad for that, but we would do like well in traffic 2 hours, 3 hour drives there
wow.
and back, 3 to 4 times a week. Then we were traveling 2 to 3 times out of state a month, playing tournaments. Actually, the one year we played, I think we played a total of like 80 or 90 games for a double A team.
Wow. A lot of
Um,
hockey.
yeah, actually we did really well too. We played we I think we went like 72, 2-1 or something like crazy like that. Of course the last loss was Nationals, the finals, but
Of course.
um yeah, so I grew up playing in Miami, playing in South Florida, and then I got lucky enough. Actually, I had a really bad U16 year. And I got lucky enough to play against Team Wisconsin because my goalie partner didn't want to play against them, and they were ranked first, and we were ranked like 70th. I just had a really good game. Like I honestly had a really bad season, and that was one of the few games I had that year that was really good. And I think I saw close to like 70 shots, and we lost 2-1 or 3-1. Um, and it was in Chicago, the Nike Bauer tournament.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
by the end of the game, there was about 80, 90 scouts watching the game, and I was asked to come to Honey Bake the next year because of that.
Yeah. So
So
like, what was it like in Honey Bake? Because that's like a very well-known organization in Michigan, and they've done super well for themselves. Like, what was that organization like, and just developing your game through there before going to Meyer the next year?
I mean, they were amazing. We had a crazy locker room, probably one of the nicest locker rooms I still to this day I've been in. As a U16 player, top coaches. Most of the guys are playing in the A or have A deals, have some show deals.
Yeah.
The worst, maybe the coast. I'm one of the few players that aren't in one of those divisions. And I mean, it was good. Like my first 18 games, I went 18-0. And I mean, yeah, I can say that it was me and whatever, but there was definitely there it was a powerhouse that we had
Yeah.
some crazy guys on that team. So, and I mean, we were treated like such too.
Yeah, and like it's great when you're facing guy when you have guys like that on your team, and practices make is so much tougher because you have guys that can really rip the puck. So like what was it like facing those guys and like that development period to get to that next level? Because I'm sure like you were like thinking back like you were like here, but like you had to like really raise your level, especially when you're facing guys like that.
So it's pretty funny because in Florida, like we don't understand. A lot of the guys don't understand juniors. So I when I went up to Honey Baked, I had no idea what really juniors was. Like
Yeah,
I had an idea like OHL, USHL. That was it. That's all I knew. Um, and so like these guys are talking about these different leagues and all this different stuff, and like they're all top caliber players. They're striving, they're working hard. Like practices are tough, workouts are harder. Um, and it just I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. I just when I was playing to have fun. I was playing to obviously make it to the next level, but I'm thinking college at that point. I'm not even thinking juniors. I had no idea. So like at the end of the season, I was getting calls on the null, and I basically told them no, not knowing that it was the null, and
yeah,
the null's good. And it wasn't until like later on that I finally had a family advisor that was kind of like, "Hey, probably should take those," or "Hey, like they want you at main camp. Yeah, you probably should have gone." Because all I was thinking was get drafted in the USHL, get drafted in the
yeah.
OHL, or wherever. So, but it's kind of funny because I'm not the only player in Florida that's like that. We were all kind of confused, and you have to kind of learn all that stuff because it's all new to us.
Yeah, it's definitely a learning curve, and especially when you don't know what junior hockey besides like the U show and the OHL is like.
Yep.
There's a ton of different leagues, so you definitely gotta like learn about that. But then you do play a couple null games with Wilkes-Barre, the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights. Like what was the difference of play going from AAA to right to a null game?
So actually, funny enough, I went U18. Actually, so my U16 year, I practiced with NCDP a lot, quite a bit. I was able to fill in when the goalie was hurt or whatever. And then U18, actually, I practiced with them quite a bit as well. Um, so I was getting the USHL shots already. And then I ended up being able to play at Wilkes for a few games after my season. It was definitely it was a stepping stone. It was a lot quicker for me. Not used to it. And I didn't do as well as I would wanted to, but still won the games. Um, but I didn't realize how much of a stepping stone AAA is to juniors until I actually was in the game and was like, wow, this is quick.
Yeah.
Um, and then the next year I was able to actually start off in Lincoln in the Lincoln Stars in the USHL, and then was released probably right at 30 man roster, and then went back to the NAHL and went to the NCDC. So I went and bounced everywhere. Kind of wanted to had a taste of every junior league.
Yeah, and you were only in juniors for one year or two, so like you got a taste of the NCDC, the NAHL, and the U show. So like it was. definitely a quick time, but like I'm sure it was a great time and a great learning experience as well.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't take any of it back. Now looking back at it, do I regret it? Maybe, maybe not. I I didn't want to keep getting traded around. I was kind of over the whole. I think I had like 30,000 miles to my
Yeah.
truck in a year. So I kind of just wanted a home. And when I got offered a D3 spot right away, that I was like 2 weeks before school, I was like, you know what? I can't. Why not? Like I'm I'm big on education. Like,
Yeah.
I studied engineering, so being able to have that offer and they had engineering, so it's like I couldn't deny it.
Yeah, and like that's also like another big stepping stone into what would lead into your pro career as well. It's like
Yeah.
what was like the was that like the decision that you made to go to Wilkes University because like it had your engineering degree that you wanted? Like what was the process like to commit there?
Yes, I mean they kind of offered me out of a NAHL camp I went to. And I was over trying to find junior teams and getting trade around. So then I was leaning towards it anyways. And then when I found out they had engineering, I was like, perfect. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then I started calling my family advisor and I was like, hey, like, can I still play pro out of D3? Like, is it still possible to play pro? And he's like, absolutely. So then I was like, well, that's a no-brainer then. Like, yeah, I'm not going to get a scholarship and play D1 hockey that I strived, but like D3 is not bad hockey at
Yeah.
all. I learned that really quickly that there's some really good players in D3. So then I ended up going there. I had a blast. I had probably made lifelong friends there, and the other schools even too. I still talk to a bunch of my buddies. Um, but yeah, I mean, I definitely don't regret anything. Plus, now I ended with an electrical engineering degree. I work part time in the summer too, so I can make some extra cash.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's not a bad gig, especially going into the summer when you need a job to
oh yeah,
get some money to afford playing pro during the season, like to have that degree and put it to use, like there that's a no brainer right there.
yep.
Yeah, but like what was like the transition going from the year you were in the NCDC and the NAHL to going into NCAA Division III? Like I know you said it's another stepping stone and you learned quick. So like what was that transition like?
I will say that the stepping stone from AAA to juniors was definitely harder for me than juniors to college. Um, the biggest difference, obviously, is everyone's wearing cages and
Yeah,
visors and shields. So players came a little bit harder, came a little bit more reckless. So it was harder, so like they would crash the net harder and things like that. But for the most part, I mean, it was good hockey. Like there was the guys were as good as the all guys, and most of them were all guys, and most
yeah,
of them were some of them are USHL guys and guys that just didn't make D1 or were a fourth or fifth line guy that just decided he wanted to get some more playing time, so he played college. And I mean, there's a one kid on my team at Wilkes that had broke all the records for D3, and he actually made the coast team. He tried out for a coast team, made the coast team, and decided not to go to do that, and then went and played with his friends at school. So
wow.
like he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's solid. That's for sure. And well, hey, enjoy another year with your buddies. Like there's nothing bad about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like what did you like so you played 4 years of NCAA Division III college hockey. So like what did you learn throughout those 4 years to really help you get ready and get your stuff settled in professional hockey?
I mean, the biggest thing is mental. Like I
Yeah,
learned that really over a span of juniors, college, and all that is just mental. Like a lot of hockey success is taking everything with a grain of salt.
yeah,
And my biggest thing I learned probably in the last 5 to 10 years is I just need to enjoy hockey. When I'm enjoying hockey, everything else aligns. When I don't like hockey or whatever, or get mad at hockey or just mad at in general that maybe you're not playing or something, that's when my game dips. And I mean, I've seen it with other people. I've talked to other guys, like there was a forward on my team in UMass Boston that was not scoring as much as he wanted to. And I was just like, dude, you're putting too much pressure on yourself. Just like go out there and have fun. Like you're playing, you're starting, like you're getting shifts. Like just enjoy it. Like have fun. And he started having fun. And I mean, he was putting the puck in the net. And it aligns a lot. Just mental is probably the biggest thing I have to say.
Yeah, and like we like us as like hockey players like put so much pressure on ourselves to perform that like you said like it usually puts you in a bad spot where you're like really getting mad at the game and everything, getting mad at yourself, just like just like your mind goes everywhere, and like that's when your game starts to dip like you said. And like like I've found as well, like when I'm having fun, enjoying training, enjoying going to the rink every day, like that's when you're going to perform at your best. And you want to perform at your best, you don't want to go into the rink in like January and be like, oh, I got to go to practice again. Like some days it's hard, but like you got to have like some sort of like motivation factor and be like, I get to go to the rink today, and instead of just like being so like negative towards practice or whatever it is.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also just the other thing I learned is just not giving up. Like you're gonna have times where you're the third, you're the fourth string goalie. Like it's gonna happen. It
Yeah.
sucks. It's not fun watching other guys play and you're in the bleachers or
Yeah.
on the bench. But knowing just not giving up, I've seen some crazy opportunities. I mean, I can tell you right now, I was a third string in Danbury at the end of the season, and I got a lucky call and just a random call, and guess what? I was in Macon all of a sudden. So, and then I was playing too. Was playing in the game all of a sudden. So crazy things happen, especially goalies. Goalies is the biggest thing is like if you just stick with it, things always work out.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's crazy. And like I'm pretty sure you told me the exact same thing when Spencer and I went to Tully's when you guys were there to
Yep.
talk like to Henner when he was with you guys. And then like obviously Kaz and I talked to you and Connor too, and like pretty sure you told me the exact same thing. And like it does go a long way, especially when you're having fun, you create those opportunities and you never know what's going to happen next, and you never
Yeah.
know what could change after that.
Yeah, I mean, Connor and I had this conversation probably about 100 times.
Yeah.
Uh, just sitting in a room talking about it, but like, and we like started looking at people that you can see that had success. And like Willie is the best example. Brian Wilson. He went from playing D1 to playing in the Fed, winning a full season. I don't think he even started the first season of the Fed. Like the second season, he was lights out, and now he's playing in Huntsville, and he just signed again with Huntsville, and he had coast games. So he stuck with it. He could have gone to the Fed and been like, I'm a D1 goalie, and went to the Fed and it's like, I'm not doing this anymore and done with hockey. But he
Yeah.
stuck with it, and now look at what he's doing.
Yeah, he's a good example. I think like Frankie's a good example too. Like he's obviously been in the league for 10 years, but he's still getting shots and getting opportunities, and he's still making the most of every opportunity that he gets, and he's having fun
Yep.
with it too. So before you went pro, you spent a year at Bethel University after your year at Wilkes University, and then you spent 2 years at UMass Boston. So like what were those last 3 years of college hockey like for you?
It was definitely an experience. I went to Bethel with the thought that there's a good chance that I could be the starter, I was told. Um, and then I was humbled really quickly when I had a tough first game. Got pulled after the second period and then didn't see a game again till December. So um, that was definitely part of the reason why I started learning that like it's mental and it's not giving up. And then when I finally got the opportunity to play again, got a shutout halfway through the game and then played the second game against Tufts the next day. Um, so it just happened like that. And like I've seen that happen a lot. But for college, I mean, that's mostly what happened was just learning that it's not all about hockey, it's mental and it's um, balancing school with hockey too. And then when I went to UMass Boston, I was told there was a very good chance that I wouldn't see a game my first year, and that actually ended up happening. I didn't I dressed for quite a few games, but never played. Um, and yeah, I'll say that I definitely was discouraged at times and was upset and maybe thought that I should have played a game or two. Um, but the guys are all super cool to me, treated me just like everyone else. And then the next year, I got the opportunity to start my first game against Hobart, who ends up winning it all that year. And then played well, and then played a few games after that. So I mean, there's definitely times where college was tough and it sucks,
Yeah,
but overall, I enjoyed it. I mean, I would definitely wouldn't take any of it back, and I made lifelong friends. Obviously got a degree out of it, and I was one of the first. Actually, I think I am the first hockey student to graduate with an engineering degree at UMass
there we go.
Boston. So that was
Well,
kind of cool
congrats on
too.
that.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, but like obviously, like with not playing a game, like it sucks. Like there's no other way to put it,
Oh
but
yeah,
it sucks. Like it really tests like your mental side of things, and just being able to show up every day, even though because it does get hard when you know you're not going to play, and you still have to show up to practice, get better every day. So you just gotta find that motivation to show up and get better. So it
yeah.
helps you in the next year, which obviously you got 6 games that year. So like it was better than the year before not playing anything. And what better way to go up against than for your first game than the team that wins it all that year. And it's like what were those games like, and finally getting to experience like college hockey and like getting real games now.
So funny enough, so my first start was against Hobart when I was at UMass Boston, but I actually went in halfway through a game against Babson, and I had no idea that I was gonna play. Like there was like I was getting to the point sometimes where I warm up and I was like, oh, I'm just warming up just to warm up. Like
Yeah,
he's not getting pulled. Like he always plays really well, or he does well enough that he doesn't. There's no chance he really gets pulled. Well, it just was one of those games, and he got my buddy who's really good, Sam Best, who's just had a tough game, and I went in, and I'll tell you right now that my legs were shaking because I hadn't played a game in a year and a half. Um, and then you playing Babson, and Babson's a huge rival.
yeah,
Um, so my legs were shaking probably for the first 10 minutes of that game of when I started playing. And then it took quite a few saves. Usually it's one save, but it took quite a few saves for me to get into the game. And then I ended up playing well. And then funny enough, like same thing kind of happened the next when I played Hobart. Like we played Elmira, had a really tough game and just as a team. And our coach used to come in the locker room and rip each person one by one. And when he got to me, he pointed at me and goes, "Be ready, you're playing tomorrow." And my jaw kind of just dropped, and I looked around, and everyone kind of started laughing, even though we just got beat like 6-0 or whatever it was. And I mean, that whole night I was quite nervous and stuff. But then it was my dad who kind of calmed me down that morning. Was just like, "Hey, like you've been working for this, like you've been wanting it. Now just go have fun with it, enjoy it. Like even if this is the only game you play this season, just enjoy this game."
yeah,
And that's kind of what I did, and it led to success. Like we didn't win, but I had probably one of my better games in college, in my college career against them. We lost, I think, 3-1, and they had a penalty shot for one of the goals. So it was when they scored two in the first period. So I mean,
yeah,
we did well, like as a team too. Um, but that kind of gave me some confidence back. And funny enough, the craziest thing that gave me the confidence was during COVID, the year where we had nothing and I was home. I played men's league and I was just enjoying hockey. I was having fun. I was stick handling. I was learning how to play the puck more, trying to score goals, trying making outlet passes, and just having a blast with my buddies. And I was like, man, I really like this. And then I kind of tried to take that back to college. And that's kind of what changed my mental game too, was just like I just have to have fun. And I know I keep emphasizing it, but like that's the biggest thing I took from my whole career right now. And I think I'll take it through my whole rest of my life. It's just like things get tough, things suck, but you gotta make the most out of what you got, and just having fun's the best thing you can do.
yeah. Like I like how you're emphasizing it because you're playing the game for a reason, and you play it since you're a kid because it was fun. So like if you go back to where you're just having fun, like you're not really stressed or anything like that when it comes to like being like, oh, like if this happens, this is gonna happen to me and stuff like that. But if you're out there just having fun, enjoying the time, like we said, like that's when your peak performance is gonna happen, is when you're out there having fun and just enjoying the time with the guys, and then and then obviously the wins and everything that comes after that will come because you're just having fun and enjoying it.
And it's not easy either. I'll say that because, like, for example, that Hobart game, my first shot on net was a 2-on-0 back door and they scored. That
Ouch.
was my first shot on net.
Ouch.
And I could have crumbled right there. And all the scratches in the back left corner of me and our on our home side. And the I went and skated after they scored. I skated around, which I never do. I skated to the corner and I was laughing. I was laughing, I full on laughing, like and smiling. And the scratches looked at me and they were like, "What is going on?" And they came up to me at the end of the game. They're like, "Dude, why were you laughing? Like after you just got ripped, like you just bar down back door, you just got ripped and you're laughing about it." And I'm like, because what am I supposed to do? Like, it's one of those goals. It's gonna happen. Like, if I make that save, you know what? It's probably getting on at least top 10 for athletics that year in school. And guess what? I didn't make the save. So what? Like, I got to make the next one, or else, you know what? I'll be sitting on the bench. So I kind of just and like make the most out of situations, even when it gets tough.
Yeah, and like if you make that save, you're still gonna end up laughing it off.
Oh
Like
yeah,
still like the outcome's gonna be the exact same, but then you just gotta dial it back after getting scored on, you just gotta dial it back and have fun and make that next save, like you said.
and so what if it's the first shot or it's the 10th shot? It's one of
Yeah.
them's going in. Like you can't stop all of them.
Yeah. Goals are bound to happen. You're gonna give up a
Yep,
goal as a goalie.
yep, exactly.
Yeah, but then after that, after your season finished at UMass Boston, that last year you went and got a shot in the Fed with the Delaware Thunder, where you got a stint there with one game. So like, what was it like to get to Delaware? Like, what was the process like to find Delaware right after school?
Yeah, so I mean, I was looking at SP teams. I was trying to get into the SP. Just with my resume and the amount of games I played, it was kind of hard to for an SP team towards the playoffs time to
Yeah,
bring in a goalie. Um, so I reached out to some teams and I couldn't really find anything. And then my coach actually had contacts with the Delaware coach and reached out to him, and he's like, "Absolutely, come for the week." Because I was still in school full time as an engineer. Actually, I was taking 20 something credits, so to finish. So I knew I wasn't gonna stay there and play. Like I was only coming for a little bit. So I ended up getting an opportunity to go there for a week. He's like, "Hey, like we'll start you first game on Friday. We have a 3-3." And so I was like, okay, and didn't know much about it. Came to practice. It was kind of an interesting practice. Hadn't skated much since the season. I took off and just skated a few times with my buddies, and did well in practice. He went to the game, and we played Columbus, who had was a powerhouse that year,
yeah,
and the puck saw the back of the net quite a few times. It was pretty good to the start of the game, and funny enough, actually, I played with some of those guys in Mississippi the next year. Um, one of my first shot on net was a breakaway in pro hockey. I stopped it, and it
there
was
we go.
against Chuck Costello. And funny enough, when I was in Mississippi, like the first week in training camp, I looked at him like, "Man, you look really familiar. Like, where do you play?" And he's like telling me all these things. I'm like, and I looked it up and saw he played for Columbus, and then watched the video and realized that he was my first shot in pro hockey. So I came up to him like, yo, you had your first shot. He's like, ah, and then he showed me. Then he sent me the clip later from scoring on me or later in the game. So he made up for it.
Yeah, he made up for that. But hey, a breakaway for the first pro save, like can't really complain about that. Like it's
Yeah,
you're dialed in at that point because you after you face a breakaway, like you got to be dialed after that.
and honestly, I got lit up. I let up I think 7 goals. I think that game. I mean, I saw probably upper 60s. I know the
Yeah,
saves didn't really say it or whatever. They didn't count. They weren't pretty good at counting, but the instat was up there. But I'm kind of glad I got lit up, honestly. Like I knew there was a bunch of those I couldn't make saves on, and there's a bunch that I probably should have had.
yeah,
Um, but going into the next year, my first pro game that year, um, I had nothing to lose. I'm like I got torched one game, so like If I let up more, I do it the same I did last game, or I have a good game and it was just it was a fluke. And guess what? I had a good game and it's like, all right, now I'm playing. Like
Yeah.
now it's serious. Now it's fun. And I knew I could play. But I just had to show it. Like you got to perform. And pro is all about that. Like especially when you get called up and stuff, you can't have bad games. You can't have bad practices. Um, you're under a microscope, especially goalies.
Yeah, especially goalies, but you get that first game out of the way in Delaware, and then you go into this past season spending time with the Mississippi Sea Wolves and the Danbury Hat as well as getting like the SB call-ups to Huntsville and then Macon as well. So like what was your first full year of professional hockey like for you?
It was an experience for sure. Um, uh, Definitely adding to the suitcase, the role of what I've had in juniors, but it was good. It was fun. I was actually able to skate with the NHL guys last summer, and this is a funny story. This is what I was kind of telling you earlier, but I was skating with the NHL guys every day for 4 hours every morning. They would close down the rink and skate, and so it was every team. There was guys from everywhere. I skated with Shesterkin was on the ice. There was a bunch of guys like big names, and then it slowly eased off where guys were going back to their teams and starting to report. And obviously, with our pro season starting later, I was able to continue practicing with them, and they would just tell me, okay, tomorrow we have at 10 a.m. And I would show up and I would get dressed in the other locker room and get on the ice. And so funny enough, it was like, I think it was a Thursday. He was like, hey, Monday starts different time. We're starting at like 9 a.m. Can you get on the ice at 9 a.m.? I'm like, absolutely. So I show up Monday, start getting dressed, don't see anyone. It's kind of weird. I get on the ice and uh, I'm stretching and Bobrovsky gets on the ice. I'm like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. And then Spencer Knight gets on the ice. And I know Spencer Knight, and then quite a few other guys get on the ice, players. And then Stolazar gets on the ice. And then Buzda gets on the ice. And then then this Swedish guy, this Swedish goalie gets on the ice. And so by this, there's six goalies on the ice plus me. And I skate up to the Panthers coach. I'm like, am I supposed to be on the ice right now? Like, we have six goalies on the ice, including, or seven goalies. Like, do you really need me? He's like, no, 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 stay. Like, you're good. And then so I'm stretching, and one of the rookie guys, the Panthers, comes up and goes, hey, welcome to Dev Camp. And I'm like, no, wait, what? So I guess they wanted a seventh goalie, just a practice goalie for their camp, the start of the camp. Um, Actually, I don't know if it was dev camp. It was training camp. Sorry. That's what it was. And so I was just standing there. I literally didn't see a shot till halfway through practice. And then Bobrovsky and I were sharing a net where Bobrovsky kept was like, yeah, yeah, no, no, you get some shots too. Like you deserve some shots. I'm like, are you sure? Like you good? Like you don't need shots? Like he's like, no, 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 you take some shots. And he's like the nicest guy ever, super down to earth. Like I have nothing but nice things to say. And ridiculous goalie. I've never seen someone stand so far in their back in their crease and still make saves on these guys. Um, so I ended up skating with them for the full week, doing their camp, which was an absolute crazy experience. We'll never forget that. And wearing my Muskegon USHL, the main camp jersey, where everyone else is wearing Panther stuff. Guys are asking for my autograph and fans, and I don't even know, like they have no idea who I am. Um, and then I was able to go to Mississippi after that and start the season. We didn't really touch the ice for the first couple weeks. Um, so that was an experience in itself. And then yeah,
Yeah, like what do you that's like such a sick experience. That's like what do you learn from just being with guys like Bobrovsky, Spencer Knight, Stolars, like guys like that, and then seeing like real NHL quality shots.
it's so hard because I definitely have learned over the years that like I'm 6'5" and I need to play like I'm 6'5",
Yeah.
and I didn't do that for a while. So just playing my size and using it to my advantage, getting in front of pucks. Maybe I'm not glove saving it, but I'm getting an arm on it at least. That was a big thing that I learned, especially those guys. There, I mean, and then it's just like simple adjustments. Even being 6'5", that little step in a shuffle makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Because they're picking corners. Like you give them a few inches, they're hitting that corner. Um, so that was the biggest thing. And then something that I took away that's probably, I mean, it is hockey, but it isn't, is all those guys were super nice. They all came up to me, introduced themselves.
Yeah.
They knew my name by the next skate. Lomberg, for example, and Gudis. Gudis was top tier, like one of the best guys, like super, super nice. Knew my name, would come up and shake my hand every day. And seeing that where the guys are making millions of dollars and you're just some pawn that's getting used as a practice goalie and they're still treating you like a normal person, um, was awesome. And that's something I'll definitely take to heart and try and do the best I can with
Yeah.
like just treating everyone with respect.
Yeah, and like that goes a long way, and like especially like when you see guys do it in the NHL, AHL, like guys that are like really making a lot of money playing the game, like it like humbles you too, because you're like you're playing professionally as well, but like you just gotta treat everyone with respect, like you're no bigger than anyone else really, and you just gotta treat everyone with respect, and just it's awesome to see like guys like that, especially in the NHL, is just doing that.
Yeah. And I would say Panthers definitely have a really good organization with
Yeah.
that too, with a good culture. Um, but I mean, you have guys like Bobrovsky making 10 mil a year with double Vesna and now a Stanley Cup guy, and he's on the ice with you and he's talking to you, saying what you're doing this summer, if you're fishing, if you're doing like he's just a normal guy. And
It's one of the boys.
yeah, exactly. And like, yeah, they're all normal guys and I treat them as such, but
Yeah.
still, I mean, they're top pro hockey players and there is obviously that still that little step that there's a difference between you and them.
Yeah.
And they don't act like that at all.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like I do the same thing. Like I treat everyone with respect, and like if fans ask for your autograph, like of course I'm gonna give the fans my autograph, and like take the time out of my day to spend time with them. And because it's like when you're younger, you were in the same situation that these kids are in, and like now you're
Absolutely.
at that point where it's like kids are asking for your autograph and want to take pictures. So like I remember sometimes when it's like guys just blow past you, and you don't like that feeling. So it's no point of doing it to someone else, and you make a big impact in the community when you do that, for sure. When you're able to spend time with the fans and give them your autograph, your take a picture with them, whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna kind of go off topic here a little bit, but I will say that's one of the best things playing pro hockey I've
Yeah.
noticed, and the big difference is just the fans. And like whether it be Mississippi or Huntsville or Danbury, like all the fans like love you. Like they take care of you. They're helping us out. They come to our games. They go to all the events. They buy our merch. Like they're all awesome people. And then when you have conversations with them, they're super down to earth. Like they really care about the team, and that's something that's awesome. Like you're in these small towns and they like they love it. Like it's like us in these bigger towns, like in Fort Lauderdale, and you see the Miami Dolphins or the Miami Heat or the Florida Panthers, like they're celebrities,
Yeah.
and so we are celebrities to some of these people. And that's awesome to think, and like I always appreciate that, and I think a lot of the guys, especially on my teams that I've talked to, have also appreciated that, saying like how awesome it is to have that feeling, but also like we try and give back to the community because we can only we want to appreciate as much as possible. And I know Watertown has a big fan base too.
Yeah, the fan base is great. Like I didn't even play a game in Watertown this past year, and the fans, every fan, like when they begin when like we have like that autograph corner and everything, like a lot of people, kids would come up, can I get your autograph? Of course, and like so like I didn't even play a game, and like everyone knows me there, and like just making a big impact in the community, and like that's like what you look for, like when you're growing up, and like when you get to the professional level, you're like, I want to make a big impact in the community wherever I'm playing. So like just to really like have it come to like fruition and everything is pretty cool as well.
So when I was in Danbury, we got I had broken one of my sticks, and I like to give sticks out. Like I always keep
Yeah,
my sticks. I know a lot
me
of the
too.
kids love the sticks, and I try to get a bunch of the guys on the team to sign it and then give it out. And so this particular stick, I happened to bring out after a game. I had him play, and my uncle and aunt were there at the game, so I was talking to them, and this little kid, this really cute little kid, came up to me and was like, "Hey, can I get an autograph?" And I've been waiting, like that stick was sitting out there, and I was waiting for the right person. Like I wanted to make
Yeah.
sure I gave it to someone like that really wanted it. So I went over and got this. I'm like, I'll do something better. I went over and gave him the stick. And actually the parents were like, no way, no way, no way. But right before I gave it to him, then I gave it to him, that kid's face lit up. Lit
Yeah.
up. And so then I took pictures, signed the stick, obviously, and gave it to them. And um they were so grateful. And I was just like, okay, like that's awesome. Like I'm glad I was made you happy. And like I didn't think anything of it. Well, over a span of like 2 months after that, our season, like the kid kept coming back. He made his own player card of me with and wanted me to sign
That's
it.
sick.
He made a bunch of merch and stuff. Like the kid was like, it was my number one fan. It was awesome. Like like the parents always come up and say hi, see how I'm doing, all that stuff. And like that was just like, wow, like I didn't realize how much of an impact you are to some of these people, and
Yeah.
something as little as that, like the kid now wants to play goalie because of me.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, but uh, but yeah, no, like it's crazy. Even like yeah, we're in the lowest division of pro hockey, but it's still crazy how much we have an impact on people.
Yeah, it's definitely feel good moments when you see like those kids' faces light up. Like I'm like you with like the sticks. Like I broke 5, 6 sticks throughout my time last season, and like I kept them, and then like when the right person would come up, like and be like, and like I'd talk to them and like ask for my autograph or a picture, and I'd be like, I'd do the same thing. I'd be like, wait a second, I have a stick that I've been keeping. So like I go
Oh
and
yeah.
grab it, and like just to see the kid's face light up, like there's no better feeling than that.
And we gave one to Peach Wave in Bethel in Danbury. And she, I mean, she takes care of us. She's an amazing person, and well, their whole family is. But I gave her a stick that the whole team signed, and come back the next time for frozen yogurt, and the sticks hung up on the wall, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like
That's sick.
so,
Something you strive for when or not like strive for, but like it's pretty cool when you do something and then you see it somewhere else, like just like in a restaurant or something like that.
and I can't wait. Like the biggest thing for me was playing pro hockey. Is like I want to be able to tell my kids I did something with hockey. Like
Yeah,
I
me
went and
too.
played pro hockey, and like now that I've done it, like that's awesome. Like I'm just enjoying it. Like I don't know when I'm done with hockey, but like I'm having fun. Like I'm enjoying it,
Yeah, that
making every moment last.
exactly. That's all that matters. Like what was it like playing in Danbury? Because like obviously as an away team, it's very like feisty when you're an away team, but like what's it like playing in Danbury when you're on the home side of things?
I mean, the fans are awesome. Like I didn't know what to expect. Actually, my first game was the Amesbury hit, so that was like my first sitting game.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a treat in itself. Um, but yeah, I mean the fans are awesome. They really love the team. Like they're a hardworking group of fans that they're blue collar workers, a lot of them, and like that's their time off is to come and enjoy hockey. So and it shows. Like they really 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 appreciate the team, and that's something like I think everyone knows on the team. Um, but then there's also those ruthless fans that were chirping me even from the bleachers. I'm like, come on, man. But it's all fun and games, obviously. But yeah, you have a tough game. It's the crowd can be ruthless.
Yeah. It's like especially with social media and everything, like you have a bad game, like you're gonna go on, like someone's gonna rip you, even your own fans are gonna rip you. But it's all in fun and games, and you just gotta or you just gotta realize just it's one game. Like go move past it and go play the next game and
And
win,
the
win the
fans,
fans back.
I will say the fans love fights. That is the biggest thing I will say, especially Danbury. When I got traded, so I got called up to Huntsville, came back and got traded. I got into a fight when I came back from Huntsville in Mississippi, like
You
full
want to
on.
fight?
Oh yeah. I won't say who, but
Yeah.
out of respect, because he's a good kid. But we ended up getting into a little tussle, and I busted my nose, and
Oh,
well, then I got off the ice. It was in practice. I got off the ice and found out I got traded that morning before the fight. So I was kind of a little rattled. Like, did I really have to get into that fight?
yeah.
But so I got on a plane the next day and showed up in Danbury. So my nose is all busted. It's still messed up a little bit, but um, the fans found out that I got into a fight, and they love me from the start. Like the fans were all coming up to me like, "Yo, like that's awesome. Like, are you gonna fight here?" And I'm like, "No, no, no, no. I am not a fighter. Like that is not me. Like if it needs to happen, then it needs to happen. But I don't want to fight." And so, but yeah, they love fights, and they all season were like, "Yo, are you gonna fight again?" I'm like, "Nope, nope, that is not me."
Yeah, I want to get in a goalie tilt, but it has to be like at the right time, like at the right time and place to do it. Like I'm not gonna do it aimlessly out of nowhere, but like I definitely like
I will
you
say
gotta you gotta at least have
MC
one
got
scrap
asked.
in you.
Oh yeah, MC got asked quite a few times this year. I watched him, and he is not a fighter. I would have been shocked if he drops the gloves, but
Yeah,
that's just he doesn't want to fight, which I respect.
yeah.
Especially the worst part is if you're up like 8-0 and you were trying to get that shutout, like you're not gonna fight. Why fight and waste?
If it's like 8-2, that's a different
Yeah,
scenario.
then maybe yeah,
Yeah,
but
but you gotta enjoy and like I'm good for at least one scrap. That
yeah, yeah. I got it out. I got it out of my system. I did pretty good for
yeah,
especially a player against a goalie. Like
there you go.
I
Can't
got
can't
my
complain
fair
about
share of
that.
punches in. I got punched in the face. Like can't ask for much more.
Oh yeah, exactly. But throughout the year, you ended up getting two SP call-ups to Huntsville and Macon. You actually got some play time in Macon. So like, what were those experiences like? And then getting into an SP game.
Yeah, so my end goal was to get called up to the SB the last year and like stay in the SB. Obviously, I didn't stay in the SB, but I got my call ups. Funny enough, I played one game against Port Huron. Halfway through the game, the goalie got pulled when I was in Mississippi. Then I came back and I played well, and Pacer really liked how I played and was impressed. And he was like, "Okay, well, you're going to get some games in now." So we went up to Withville. We were driving up to Withville. It was a really, really late bus trip. Like we left really late for some reason, even later than we were supposed to. And I get a call, I get a text on our way up. We're going through Alabama from Brett Schaefer saying, "Hey, like, where are you right now?" And I was like, "I'm in halfway through Alabama on a bus going to Withville, Virginia." And he goes, okay, let me, they said, our goalie just got hurt in warm-ups. We might need a goalie in Huntsville. And I'm like, okay. And I'm supposed to start in Withville the
Yeah,
next day for my first start in the Fed.
yeah.
Next thing you know, Pacers turn around going, "Hey, you want to go to Huntsville?" And I'm like, yeah, I guess. Like, I'm not gonna say no to that. So Pacer actually went out of his way and took the bus and dropped me off in Huntsville,
Wow.
way out of the way, like an hour out of the way. And they got in later because of that. So shout out to Joe Pace because that was awesome of him. Like I really appreciate that. And so I got to back up with Brian Wilson against Roanoke the next night. And then I ended up staying there for a month because the goalie was hurt for a couple of weeks. And that was an experience in itself. I saw a bunch of the SB teams rinks and saw the fans. Huntsville's unbelievable.
Yeah.
8,000, 7,000 fans, full arena. Everyone's super loud. The speakers are going. Was there for teddy bear toss and everything. Um, but that was an experience in itself. I didn't get to play in that. And then, like I said, I was in Danbury, got was ended up being in third string and got a call from my one of my goalie partners saying, "Hey, like I know Macon needs a goalie right now. Like, do you want to go to Macon?" And so I ended up traveling to Macon. We played Huntsville, so all my buddies at Huntsville. Um, the other goalie started. It was a tough game. I think he let up 4 or 5, and they put me in. And that I will say, when my legs were shaking in Babson, I would say there was double or triple that in Huntsville. Um, and I mean, it was a tough game. I think I let up another 4 or 5, I think 6, 5 or 6 in that game. It was tough. But I didn't play terrible. But it was definitely a big tough intro to the SB, but it was an experience in itself too. It was awesome. And I had a blast, like being able to play in front of that many fans, everyone telling me I suck, which is awesome. But
But
yeah,
you're at the SB level and you got to see what it takes to get up there. So
yeah,
never know what could happen after that.
yeah. I mean, it was something that I didn't think was happening. I thought it was going to be my season was basically over, and then next thing
Yeah.
you know, I'm playing in an SB game. So, like I said, it's one of those things that you don't know what happens until it happens, and you just kind of stick with it, keep training, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you can do. But to wrap this episode up, we have some Instagram questions that we'll
Right.
go over before we end this episode. But the first question is from our boy Spencer Kozlowski. How are your hands so soft?
I don't even know how to answer this. I don't even know what he means by this. Is this like stick handling or what?
I have no idea.
Or am I dropping the puck too much?
Maybe that's the reason. Who knows?
I don't know. Cause is a great kid. I love him.
He's a beauty for sure.
I
Uh,
always I always hated playing against him. He's always giving me a run for my money.
oh yeah, he always does no matter who he plays. Like he's an unreal goalie to watch for sure.
Oh yeah. Especially we played against him when he was in school too. Well, I didn't play, but we were playing against him.
Yeah, that's big too. But the next question is favorite barn to play in.
Ooh. I would say in the SB Huntsville for sure. Um, Up there in the Fed is Binghamton for
Yeah,
sure. I played in was packed arena, so that was pretty cool. It was sold out crowd. But then Danbury is awesome too. Mississippi, the arena is pretty cool. So huge arena, and Baton Rouge was sick too. So I mean, there's quite a few arenas that like they're awesome. But I'm kind of excited to see Athens this year. I know
yeah,
Wytheville got a new setup. I'm excited for that too, and kind of see where all the other teams. I know things are changing. So
yeah. Definitely those barns are sick, and it's only getting better with the other rinks that are coming into play as well.
oh yeah.
Next one is what game was your favorite from the season?
Oh man, I think my first pro win. So I started in Danbury against Binghamton. It was like my third time in a row. My first three starts for Danbury were against Binghamton, and they had my number. Actually, we beat them one game, and then oh no, sorry, we didn't beat them. We didn't beat them later on, but uh, yeah, that was an interesting game. I let up 3 goals in the first like 5 or 6 minutes of the game. I was like down, and our Billy, our coach, wasn't on the bench. So I'm looking at the bench like I'm getting pulled. Like there's no way I'm not getting pulled this game. And they stuck with me. Shout out Matt Voidy for keeping me in the game and stuff. He had faith in me, and we came back and ended up winning 5-4 in overtime. But yeah, they didn't score until the third period after that. But that was pretty cool. And Stoichevsky scored, my buddy. So I had a skated. I think there's a video the fan has of me skating from my crease and jumping on him from center ice.
What a way to get your first pro win. Give up three in the first 5 minutes and end up getting the win in overtime.
Oh yeah,
Hey, gotta make it interesting in some games.
exactly. And then I think my second pro win was against Binghamton again at Binghamton. And we were losing like 3-0 going into the third, and we ended up winning 4-3. And we scored 4 goals in the last like 4 minutes.
Crazy games to
Oh yeah.
get your wins. And then the last question is from Stoichevsky, asking about his two nicknames in Danbury and who got them going.
I don't know what he's two. I know Murr is the one that he always used to. Oh, I guess Muzz. That Billy called me Muzz one day, and I don't know where it came from. He said that he had someone else had that nickname, so he used it. So everyone called me Muzz. Never heard that one before. I didn't mind it. And then Stoich loved saying Murr, and like he would like make like a mooing Murr sound, and like he would yell on the bus and drove me insane. And he knows it. He knows it too. Then everyone kind of caught on to it, and they were saying it.
Hey, nicknames are pretty cool, especially like when they're not like annoying or anything like that. And like you the boys have to give you a nickname for like everyone gets a nickname in hockey. That's how it goes.
Oh, the boys loved using it. They put it in everything. I would just hear it randomly in the locker room. I wouldn't even be in the locker room. I'd be down somewhere else, and someone would be saying it. Like they're just kind of using it now at that point. It was funny though. It was fun.
Yeah, makes for some
All
good
fun and games.
memories. Makes for
Oh
good
yeah.
memories, and like it's something to laugh about throughout the season.
He still calls me or he'll leave me a voicemail. It's just that.
Gotta love it. But Liam, thank you again for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time and want to wish you the best of luck with Blue Ridge this year and hopefully get to play against you or see you in a game soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And yeah, good luck to you as well.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.